Hey everybody, this is just, I guess, some more random tool comments. This is about this Klutch half-inch breaker bar, long breaker bar I picked up from Northern Tool some time ago. This is actually, I've mentioned this before in video, the other one I just posted about this Hotset half-inch 916 LG extendable ratchet. I mentioned this Northern Tool, this Klutch, to be more specific, this Klutch breaker bar, that part of the reason why I bought this was to kind of serve as a breaker bar, but also serve as just a nice, longer, heavy-duty half-inch ratchet. So in that other video, I mentioned that I've had problems with this breaker bar. I've replaced this once. I actually, the ratcheting mechanism would break and it would stick, and I'd literally have to disassemble the ratchet. I have to take it out here, pop out these parts, fix the pawl, put it back together, and then screw it back together. And I finally, this happened a few times, I think probably 4 or 5 times, and I said, you know what, I need to take this back. The Klutch says they have a lifetime warranty on some of their tools, and this is one of them that is that. So I took it back, and they were reluctant to replace it, but they did, to their credit. But that said, I think this is going to fail again. The design isn't, it might be a little different, but I just don't really have much confidence in this. So part of the reason why I went out and bought this was to act as a breaker bar, but also, of course, to act as a ratchet, kind of a double purpose tool, or a dual purpose. And of course, the other thing is, you know, it's also more compact, but when I extend it out, it's almost close to length. It's probably, I don't know if you can see it well, but if I put these to where, like this, say they're close, it's probably about maybe, you know, like an inch shorter in terms of length. So this works out for me. Granted, it's more money, but this isn't exactly cheap. Can't remember the price I paid for it. I actually think I got it on sale. But the point is, this design, the ratcheting design is just, it's got problems. Now there is one plus that this has versus the ratchet, is that this is not a flex head, and this is, or I don't know where you call it flex, but maybe a swivel. Maybe not in the traditional sense, and which is fine. It's certainly handy. But honestly, I'm not sure in practice exactly how much this is going to give me over this, because if it's a problem, I can always put an extension or something as well, then maybe a wobble, or, you know, maybe a really tough U-joint, I don't know, universal joint, just to, you know, if I've got that much of an angle I've got to get, it shouldn't be a problem. But and you know, one of the other things about this is it's not, you know, this bar is nice, it's chrome, it's polished, it's nice and smooth. I like the handle, and it's got a good weight and whatnot, but the head itself is not the best. It feels kind of, maybe not the best steel. And then this is just aluminum, which I had problems before with it. And then, you know, the hammer itself is, it's fine. But all in all, I've just not been happy with this. And I'm quite certain that this Hotset, I'll be extremely happy with it over the long haul. So anyway, this is just a short video. I was just really talking about this. I mean, you know, if you're going to use one periodically, and you're, you know, you might get lucky, you might get fortunate. I've only used this once since I took it back and got it replaced, and it worked fine. But the original I had that I got replaced, that broke, well, it worked fine too when it started out, and then it didn't take maybe 2 or 3 times before the ratcheting mechanism started having problems. And the reason why it was an issue is that when it would lock to where I couldn't turn it, and it was locked in the loosen. And you might think, oh, hey, I can just flip it, but no, that doesn't work either. So in practice, that doesn't work, and if you have to disassemble it to use the thing because you need it in loosen and it was always in tighten, then that's just not going to work. That kind of defeats the purpose of having a breaker bar. And I mean, even if it like in this one, it has 3 positions, so you can lock it in. If you get it just right in the middle, you can lock it to where it's stuck. If anybody had been in that way, I would have probably been okay with it. But I don't really like to buy a tool that's just going to fail after 2 or 3 uses. I think it was my 3rd use that started having problems, and about the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th time it kept getting worse and worse. And I think about after 7 or 8 times, I already had disassembled it once, and I did it again, and I just said enough, so I took it in. Anyway, like I said, it's Northern Tools credit. Even though they were a little reluctant, they did eventually. After a minute or 2 discussing with the clerk, they did went ahead and let me exchange it for this one, and which is nice. You know, I won't say it's old Craftsman style, because from what I understand with Sears, the old way, you just walk in and hand them the tool, and you'd say, hey, it's messed up and here's what's wrong. And they would look at it and say, okay, go get another. And then they would enter your stuff, ring it up, and you're done. But these guys are not quite that way. But anyway, that's all I have to say about that. I hope this is helpful. I gives a little insight. And if you just want to see more of my videos or whatnot, subscribe. And that's all I have to say. And thanks for watching.